Good morning.
Good morning. We are
Good
live.
morning.
Move your chair around. See what people think of the sound. Yeah, that's the way a chair should sound like that. Especially if you're watching the internet by yourself in the dark. What's
Morning,
going on,
Chauncey.
everyone?
Dave.
Hey, it's Craig. Hey, dude, you're more than welcome to come up when you're releasing your next album, or you're more than welcome to come up whenever, but let me know. This dude has a record label. He reissues records. He has a record store. So let me know. What's going on? He has nothing to do.
I'm working on just finalizing the next issue. I was working on my publisher's letter this morning.
So it's not gonna. Is it gonna be ready on Saturday or no?
Hell no.
That sucks.
Yeah. This stupid fire, man. Everything's a week late.
Now, why?
That's my excuse.
Were they affected in any kind of way, or their supply chain or something?
No. I was affected. I emotionally took a week off because why not?
We are making an appearance, and we will sign autographs for $5.
Yes.
Hey, look who's here. He's been away for a while, but he was back last time. Hey, Closet Krishna.
Hello.
I'm easily 58 people, or all the people that watch. Oh, people are coming in now. Anyone, not a reason to get records from me in my auctions, but everyone gets a copy of Record Collector News. Now, there has to be an issue available. I have extra copies, so sometimes people get more than one of the same issue. But you should be disappointed if you're there to run into us.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a letdown.
Yes. Especially if 5 record guys that are there selling records. So, hey, yeah, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
A friend of mine scored at Orange County last Sunday. He got a really nice record. Paid $100 for a $5 record.
They started making dealers, or not making, on their Instagram feed. They started showing records that dealers would be selling to promote it. I don't think they've done that before.
Come on down. How was? Did anyone go there? I'm wondering how it was.
Yeah. Anyone go to the Orange County Record Show? I might go next time. I don't know. It's because I picked up all these records now that I'm trying to I have the flattener from Gem, so I'm trying to see if it works for me. So far, here's the deal. I won't say the company. It's a German record flattener. The manual that they send with it is not very good. But
it's over 30 pages. And it's
but half of it's in German, half's in English. But even
English is 30 pages, and it's impossible.
But it just is. It's not written by anyone who has ever read a manual on how to use something before. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help you.
It's not written by someone who understands that Rob doesn't have, the ability to focus for very long.
Yeah, I've OBC, whatever. So, but to their credit, it's not a cheap device. It's very basically built. The display is sort of like, remember playing that old Mattel electronic football game? The display is sort of like that. It's very antiquated. It is nothing that we're used to. There are 2 preset settings that you have to maneuver to. One, this is not a cheap thing. So I'll just say that.
This is a $2,500 record flattener from Germany.
It does not feel like it costs $2,500, but I know other people have like a Japanese flattener that's expensive. And that looks like it's made out of plastic and stuff. The casing of this is like cooler foam, like you got an ice cooler.
Yeah, it's like
So
made out of foam, but they say that it insulates or something. I don't know.
no, I mean, I think it's well thought out, but here's the credit I'll give the company. I emailed them. And they're in Germany. An automatic response from the guy. I'm assuming it might not be a big operation. The guy kind of stated, oh, if you're an audiophile, there are two kind of pre-settings. There's relaxed and standard.
Yeah.
And again, two terms that I don't think go well with record flattening.
Yeah, relaxed. And it doesn't mean what they...
Well, I mean, I don't have any other device to compare it to. So he goes, well, if you're a newbie, do relaxed. And if you're advanced, do the standard. And I know there's a way to manipulate it to make it maybe run longer or increase the temperature. The relaxed heats up. It actually does two records at once. Does it do two records at once? Well, that remains to be seen. There's one on the bottom, on the base. You put a metal plate, put the second one, and then another metal plate sandwiched together. And then there's a, tension screw. You screw it down. And then you close it and you set it. So this relaxed it heats up to 125 degrees for an hour. Then it cools down. And the digital display does a good job of reading out what temperature it is. And even when it's cooling down, it keeps the temperature. The standard heats up to 131, something like that, 131 for 30 minutes and then cools down. I think the relaxed is probably the way to go. Now, here's what I've noticed. The record that's on the bottom seems to do better of a leaving any warp than the record on the top. I don't know if that's just me or maybe the type of vinyl it is and all that other stuff. Last night I put a record in on the bottom and it flattened, but it seems like I have to run them through twice to get any kind of real result. So the guy, to his credit, he goes, well, I'm not in the office until Friday, but I'll send you out tips. My question to him is, look, this manual is hard to navigate. He admitted, you're correct. And then I said, well, do you have any YouTube videos on showing people how to use this? No. Hello? It's free marketing. Make a video showing people how to use it, and you probably will sell more. And he said he'll send me some tips. So I'm waiting for tips. Does anyone own a German record flattener? Because I actually have a lot of records to flatten.
Get a periphery ring, Wiki Dixel. Get a periphery ring, and you don't need a flattener.
What? I did when I started collecting records, I did bake a record. Hey, look who it is.
Hey, Renee.
Hey, Renee, do you feel I treat you badly? Let me know. I think you have a sense of humor. I think you do. Let me know if you think I believe you have a sense of humor and you do have a sense of humor. Thank you. All right. So I will keep everyone updated on how I'm doing with flattening records. Right now, I'd say mixed results. I will say this. I found this at a thrift store. It was warped. This record is the original this La La Land, which I hate the movie. The music's good. I just feel like the opening scene of the movie was so good. The rest of the movie did not live up to that scene. But this original blue vinyl pressing is worth some money. This flattened well. It flattened really well. It is now. Okay. Watch this. Thank you, Renee. But you spelled humor wrong. Thank you. So this flattened really well. This is nice and flat now, and it plays perfectly fine. So that's my experience.
Was that what kind of a warp was it? Do you know? Was it? I had a hard time with.
It was a very pronounced warp.
Just
now it is flat, and maybe
dish warp.
now through communicating with Jazz Bum Chris, who has a very nice Japanese flattener, he says his experience, like, you have to work with it. Sometimes you have to put it through a couple times. And then how old the vinyl is. There's different formulations of vinyl that work better with the flattening. So yes. Go tell the world. It's put out there into the world. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yes. Congratulations. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain, Gay Joel.
I'm drunk and I'm real high in the spirit of the Lord.
Yes.
That's my fave.
Mm-hmm. Hey, as I say, if anyone's interested in coming up, you can message me and I'll send you a link. I will not share links publicly on this because there's idiots who have nothing better to do with their time. I picked up a couple records last night. I'll tell you, I picked up, see, now, I don't know how many people give a crap about my getting into weirdo jazz. This is Hemet Bluet. This is a live record on Indian Navigation from 1975. It's basically free jazz, but it's pretty good. I'm not taking it out of the label, so Indian Navigation has all different types of labels. And then I picked up this flattened really well. Oh, Jim ran away. This flattened really well, Jim, this record. And this is a kick-ass record. I showed it the other day. The Ronald Shannon Jackson in the Decoding Society. You know what this is? This is free funk. It's like free jazz, but funk, if you can believe that. And Vernon Reid from Living Color plays on this. This is from 1980, and this is really good. So I liked it so much, I saw another of their albums, and this is more funkier. It's less free. And Vernon Reid, on this one, Vernon Reid, there's a bunch of guitar players. This one, Vernon Reid is the only one, and he shreds on this. This is really good. This sort of reminds me of Sonny Shirakish playing, but this is really good. Ed Topo's chiming in. Is this what it's called? Free funk? Or melodic funk? But this is good. I'd say on Antilles. This one's on About Time record label. This one's on Antilles. And
I'm gonna have to dig those up. I'm gonna have to stream those.
This is more, but a lot more free jazz players are on this one. This is not the same lineup, but except for Vernon Reid, and this is very good. Both are good, but they're different albums. I put this through to flatten just to relax, but this one flattened up really nicely. They all had little warps to it. Must have all come from the same collection.
Here's some free jazz I was listening to yesterday, and I'm like, do I really want to keep this?
Well, it's not fully free, but yes, if you don't want to keep it, give it to me. I'll sell it for you because that one goes for some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of honking. Lots of honking.
Well, why don't you try to make fun of them and post their crap on your channel, Zeb? How long? Yeah, how long have you had that?
Who are you talking to?
No, Josh. When I was young, I knew Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington and Miles Davis, but it was since the pandemic. It was something to get into, and I like it now.
I resisted getting into jazz. I had an uncle that was a jazz drummer, and he dragged me into it.
Can you hold up that record again? That record is at the time that was put out, none of those records have been reissued or put out. They were on the shelf. The one, but now they're both out. I think one is the Sam Records Dimensions and whatever record. The second is an Andrew Hill record that I think only came out on CD. So that's those two records. The second record released as an Andrew Hill record.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You're a troublemaker, Zeb. That's what I think you are. I don't know what kind of sensation you get through your body, but you like to make trouble.
Who does, Zeb?
Zeb. He plays both sides of the regular people and the idiots. I don't know why. Pick a team, Zeb.
It's more fun that way.
I don't think he has fun doing it. I think
that might be true.
Everything he does is a knee-jerk reaction.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'll be right.
All right. I'm giving you 1 second. One. Maybe I should make it big, and I'll do this. Take a screenshot. Let's see if I can make it my background. Doing this on Apple is a whole rigmarole. Now I have to save it to photos so I can edit it. I'm giving you my process. There, it's saved. I'll make it my background. Cool. Burn. Yeah, Zeb, you're a troublemaker, man. Come on. Maybe you should change the name of your channel to Zeb the Troublemaker.
Trouble with Zeb.
No, Trouble with Zeb would be a nutty sitcom.
Oh.
He is the troublemaker.
So here's what I'm reviewing.
Oh, I have to make you big.
What is this?
That is the thing that sits on your turntable. It's the record weight. Weighs it down.
It's not really a weight. It's got these little metal things in the bottom.
Yeah.
It's called Black Ravioli Record Ground. And you put it on, and it's supposed to ground your record. No static electricity will build up on your record.
So it's not weighted?
No, not there's it's very light. There's no
compared to the Humming Guru device, which works better?
The Humming Guru device. The Humming Guru device wipes out the stuff, wipes out the static electricity. You take it off. Does static electricity build up again once you've taken it off while you're playing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This will supposedly keep it from building back up again. I've used it. I have a lot of static electricity in my office. The guy spent $1,000 on ads with me. It's hard for me not to think it works after the guy spent $1,000. But I don't know.
Hey, Rix, is your real job a scientist? A static electricity scientist? Do you have to wear rubber shoes while you do this?
No, I walk up to my turntable and I'm full of static electricity. The hair on my arms is up. I hit it with the...
Living in California, I know it's dry. We don't get I never get electric shocks.
Oh,
but,
I do.
Growing up on the East Coast, I'll send you one, Michael. When we were kids, we used to rub our feet in our socks on the carpet and touch each other. Right?
Rob lives in Santa Monica is a different climate than where I live. It's dry. I have static electricity.
I mean, it's dry here, but
I touch my turntable and I get a snap.
I do get dust and stuff, but I don't get electric shocks. That doesn't happen here. Hold on. I have to send out a link. It's a lot. This is why I don't do it every day. It's all the minutia of communicating and sharing and being. Okay.
They're always coming and going and
Yeah.
going and coming
Coming
and always too soon.
and hold on. It's coming.
Morning, Beetle Babe.
What is she saying?
She's saying that there's static electricity in different parts of the state. Beetle Babe basically understands it the way I do.
Yes.
Rob has no understanding of static electricity.
I have understanding. After cleaning my records and playing it off the turntable, I don't have any static at all. Well, play your whatever mind. Renee has a sense of humor, everyone. What's up, Rufus? I need to get rid of Rufus. Let me find someone else who comments. Hi, Matt.
Good morning. No static at all.
Well, that's a song.
That's
okay. You know, the static talk is getting more traction than the record flattening.
Yeah. The DS audio stuff. No.
Why don't you have him open for you one time, Angela?
Here, I don't have a DS audio, but this is like an extra Hannah ML. Who wants it? Good price. Brand new in the box. I've never played with a DS audio.
Now, Steely Down FM is on the soundtrack to the movie FM, which actually is a great sounding album. It sounds really good. And there's a bunch of live songs from the movie. But I think the only Steely Dan album it's on is it on Greatest Hits or Golden, whatever. There's two like different Greatest Hits albums, right?
So the fires are...
Well, after the rains, it's amazing that the fires are still around, but I think the Palisades is 96% contained.
Right.
And thoughts out to that air collision in DC, man. That's horrible.
Oh yeah. But you know, people are moving on, and my brother's got an apartment.
He's not with your dad anymore, right?
Well, I think he moves in on the 1st. So a couple of
Hold
days
on.
he'll be moving in.
Going to a record store for the first time in 2 months. Anything I should look for? Records. Which store are you going to? Yeah, I want to get that. I want to get the Eddie Hazel album, even though I have the Real Gone reissue. I think I want to go get that Eddie Hazel record. I might do that today if it's available somewhere.
It's a good record.
I mean, it is, but I want to get that. I think get the Eddie Hazel record.
Why do you?
I was there yesterday. They were moving around the jazz section, and they need to buy a collection to replenish.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that Amoeba?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tone.
I think maybe they were moving everything over. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Well, who wants to see the cover of the next issue?
Okay, that would be interesting.
Not really. High Moon Records.
What is that?
I don't know. It's a cover story. They're reissuing.
Is it a record label?
Yeah. It's another reissue label.
Oh, it's a brand new label?
Yep. Oh, then we have this. I got to cut this down, way down. The waxed.
No, you don't.
I got to cut that down.
Show them the title.
Down to the ground.
Show it again. Show the page. Which version should I buy? It's my article about there's so many different versions of records. Which one should you buy?
Right. Newbie Vinyl Addict. Okay, so a newbie vinyl addict wrote you a letter. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Jim.
Yes. All right.
Anyway,
what's going
on?
No, that's cool. Is that for the newest issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proofing
Not out
it.
yet.
It's the stupid stuff I write.
We're gonna be a little late.
He wouldn't let
This
me
is-
put out my review of the Humming Guru yet. So that's next issue.
It's what's the term? I can never remember what's the publishing term where embargoed. It's embargoed.
Yes, it's embargoed for now.
It's embargoed by the publisher.
That's right.
Jim,
So
I'm glad to hear your brother's doing okay. Is insurance more or less doing what they're supposed to, or no?
not really. For like the first 2 days, it seemed like they would. Now it's like, what policy do you have? They're like,
oh yeah, they're making you do all the work. Like, yeah.
They're. It's just, and then okay, we'll be. I mean, they're probably having a lot of claims. It's probably but they got to deal with it. But yeah, they found an apartment in Monrovia. They'll move in a week or two.
I heard something interesting. They starting the process of clearing the Palisades. I heard, and I don't know if this is true, to clear each home, it's $170,000.
Yeah, it's probably not cheap because it's
be.
not just, hey Mazzy, it's not just like demolishing stuff. It's like, okay, you gotta like what is the situation of the plumbing? What is the situation of the groundwater? Like there's probably a
Right.
few
Plus the ash is
city. Yeah.
There's so much crap in, so much toxic shit in it. All the electronic stuff that melted and burned.
Is it like a hazmat? Is it a hazmat site?
My sister-in-law went back, and you have to put a hazmat suit on to go dig through your shit. And they're taking the Altadena hazardous material out to the old racetrack, I think, that just shut down. And people down in Irwindale or something, and those people don't want them processing that stuff down there because who knows what that's going to do. But they want to get it done as quickly as possible so people can get back into, start building.
It's going to be a long time. The whole infrastructure's got to be rebuilt.
It would.
My brother's post office burned down.
Honestly, this is the perfect opportunity for LA to densify because having a city full of suburbs is just, well, we witnessed the problem of having a city full of suburbs.
Right.
Yeah, but the problem here in Santa Monica right now, every spot, the high rise is going up.
Good.
So
good.
But there's traffic construction.
The second largest city in the country.
There's high rises. Santa Monica. Yeah, but okay, there are two types of cities. There's cities where everything is the city and short, not long around it. And there's long and spread out cities. LA's a long and spread out city. Houston, Texas, long spread out city. So
yeah, but
I think LA has to change.
Something's got to give. Eventually,
Los Angeles has to morph into 3 or 4 cities of about 3 million each. Right now, there's 3 million spread out. Eventually,
here's my thought. LA metro area goes from Ventura all the way down to Orange County. No, Orange County, the metro area.
Right.
There's over 22 million people. 22, I think. Yes. That whole area.
LA is still a desert. LA is still somewhat of a desert, though. I mean, the movie to watch.
People live
I know.
here.
I totally. Watch Chinatown. That really kind of puts it in the perspective of the water issues going.
But they've California can pump water around.
Yeah,
that's what they've done. They can move it around.
Well, there was always that rivalry with Northern California and Southern California.
Single-family homes also use like 3 times the water of people living in higher density areas.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's true.
I got a good record story. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a big jazz follower on Instagram, Strata East, which was a jazz label started by jazz musicians, Charles Tolliver and Stanley Cowell, put out a lot of avant-garde, free, changing jazz. They're relaunching. I think you call it a relaunch. Now, the trouble with Strata East is they gave the tapes to all the musical acts, and a lot of tapes have been thought to be gone. But in the world we live in now, we know there are other tapes, second tapes, and people are perfectly fine with using them. They sound fine. So they're going to have sort of a relaunch, I think, coming in April. And on their site, someone sent out a link. They posted 4 titles that are dropping supposedly in April. Mastered by Kevin Gray with Stoughton tip-on jackets. The title, now the reason I'm not showing you anything is they pulled it down. But before they pulled it down, I pre-ordered 2 of them. They have not canceled my pre-order. I don't know why it was up. Someone found it. They're doing a Charlie Rouse album. Saxophonist, played with Monk. That album and originals of Strata East Records, if you can find them, are a lot of money. Pure Pleasure, which is a British reissued label, reissued a bunch. They're known to be digital reissues, I think. And a lot of them sound really good. But I pre-ordered Charlie Rouse and a Stanley Cowell solo piano record. The other ones is they're taking the Charles Tolliver Music Inc. Live at Slugs. They were released as 2 separate albums. They're making it a gatefold double album. And then the 4th one was Pharoah Sanders' album. But I pre-ordered 2 and they pulled it down from the site. So I don't know what's happening there. But it's interesting. That's all. That's what I had to say.
The stream is making me sleepier than when I was in bed.
All right.
Not too much. Yeah. I don't want to think about you cozy in bed, Maz.
Michael and Joey turned me on to this album, okay?
Oh, no. All right. Is this the debut of you showing this on every
No,
stream?
I know I should have before, but the point is, I wasn't specifically looking for it when I was in San Francisco, and I found it in a bin at Stranded Records, Stranded, New York, Berkeley, or Oakland, and San Francisco. And I didn't know there was a difference at 2 different versions. And this is a single gatefold. I mean, it's not a gatefold, it's a single sleeve with an insert, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just bought it. It was, I don't know, $25, right?
It's kind of messed up. They're selling a bootleg for $25.
Yeah. Well, is it bootleg or gray market?
It's bootleg.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's fucked up. Yeah. So, but I didn't know the difference. I didn't know, and I hadn't even played it yet. And I sent a picture to Michael, and he goes, "Oh, is that? I don't know. That might be a bootleg. Is it the white vinyl one?" Sure enough, it's not. So I found a copy. It just arrived a couple of days ago, and the difference. I mean, it's a world. First of all, Obi's nice, but you have all your it's white color. It's from a digital transfer, but it sounds really great, and it's a gatefold, and it's a lovely gatefold.
Yeah, I'm really glad they were able to recreate that, because that's the gatefold that's on the original. And for the longest time of this record, there were no official reissues of this record for a long time. When I started collecting.
Can we say what record it is and what kind of music it is?
We're getting to that. You don't watch my videos, do you? Are you one of the guys that posts Mazzy? This guy doesn't get into the story until 10 minutes in. I like to lead up.
Talk about something that puts me to sleep.
Rob, every record has a story, and I could be one of those yo-hos that say, "I went to the record store and I bought this. I went to the record store and I bought this."
Obviously, Norman doesn't have the ability to say anything about the record.
Go ahead, Michael.
Rob, so this is a record by a group called the Flower Traveling Band. They were a Japanese psych rock band that moved to Canada and released a couple records in Canada. And they were kind of like a cult status band. They got some play in like America, Canada, and England. They got released internationally by Atlantic.
It's prog psychedelic, and it's a lot of.
This is by far their best album. This is the album they recorded right before they moved to Canada. It's called Satori, and it's basically like an improvised jam album. I mean, most of the guitar parts were written improvised, and then the band just like formed parts around it. Even like the singing on it, like Joe Yamanaka, half the time, first of all, he's not singing that much on the album, and half the time,
instrumental.
Yeah, and half the time when he's singing, he's not even singing lyrics; he's just doing vocalization.
It's if you're a killer guitar, like psychedelic, proggy hybrid, you'll love this. It's
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
heavy. It's heavy without being like too heavy. You know what I mean? It's heavy, but it's not.
it's very like proto metal. There's a lot of like early Black Sabbath and Blue Cheer.
Yeah, more like that. That period of metal. Like, oh, I thought about Blue Cheer a couple times actually in it. You know, but
Yeah.
it's more of a slower kind of build in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
There's
Really,
also,
really good.
I mean, these guys were also really influenced by King Crimson, and this is their second record. On their first record Anywhere is an all cover record, and they cover Black Sabbath and King Crimson on that record.
Wow.
What was their thought on moving to Canada?
They so they were, I mean, well, Rob, you could read the article that I wrote for the Tracking Angle on this.
Watch our videos and read Michael.
No, but
what was my last article on the Record Collector News? Everyone, don't
old man yells at cloud.
say it once.
How to change a tire on the 5.
No, I mean, I go into pretty big depth on this, but basically, their producer was this guy named Yuya Yoshida, who was like the godfather of rock and roll in Japan, and he was really a rock and roll originalist, where the idea was that like in order to be pure rock and roll, you have to like sing in English, because he was like one of the first people importing rock records into Japan and singing rock and roll, and it was all based on
What
like,
year was this?
Well, Yuya Yoshida was active since like 1959.
This is
Oh,
early
wow.
Isn't this early 70s?
This is this one's 1971 is when that record came out.
Wow. Okay.
So Yuya Yoshida,
you'd like this, Jim. I think you'd like it.
Let me well, I showed it on stream before, but so Yuya Yoshida like wanted to be a rock star for like a decade. He's this guy in Japan. He released some singles. He really couldn't play any instruments, really. But he sang the Welcome Beatles song when the Beatles came to Japan, and he became friends with John Lennon. And then after that, he produced a couple bands in Japan that were like Beatles copy bands, basically. And then he wanted to get away from it all. He went to, in 1967 or 68, I don't remember, he went to England and hung out with Lennon, and he saw Cream, he saw Big Brother and the Holding Company, he saw Jimi Hendrix Experience, all while living in London. And then he came back to Japan and was like listening to all these bands that sound like the Monkees, and he was like, I want to start a hard rock band in Japan. So he pulled a bunch of people and he started this band called Yuya Yoshida and the Flowers. And that was his first attempt at making like a really hard rock band. And they released one record, and he was still part of the band. And then he wasn't happy with that, and so he fired half the band and reformed the band as like a power trio with vocals. And that was the Flower Traveling Band, and he wasn't in it anymore.
Well, it's a good record.
And they played at this Osaka festival. It was like the International Expo, and they played with this Canadian band called Lighthouse in 1970.
That's what Bob.
Maybe.
Did you read Bobby Gass's comment?
Yeah, there we go. Because so they played with Lighthouse in Japan, and Lighthouse invited them. They were like, "Hey, you should come to Canada and tour with us." So Flower Traveling Band moved to Canada for like 2 years, and they toured with Lighthouse, and they played with a bunch of other bands, and they recorded 2 albums in Canada, and then they kind of called it quits and went back to Japan.
But it seems weird. Why not just come to the U.S.?
I don't know.
Was it 70s?
I'm sure. Well, Hideki Ishida's still alive. You could ask him. You know what's funny is they did come back. They reformed in like 2007 or something, and they came and they did a short little U.S. tour. By this point, Hideki Ishida was obsessed with the sitar, and he had invented his own guitar that was like a hybrid between a guitar and a sitar called the sitarla. And when they toured on this record again in 2008, they played like South by Southwest and like some shows in New York and stuff. He was playing the sitarla. So there's like, you can look up videos of him playing this record on his new instrument.
Interesting. There's if I could bring up one of my favorite artists, and she mentioned Cream, Eric Clapton. He's been on my mind for decades for obvious reasons. He has a new album out, which I have not heard. I'm really curious about it, but there's an interview going around, or one interview where someone brought up Crossroads from Wheels of Fire. If anybody knows that great half live album, Cream album, that version is like 15 minutes, 14 minutes, whatever it is, right? Well, Eric Clapton's now saying that we never played the song that long. So Tom Dowd, I think he's the one who produced that,
Put it together.
with Felix Pappalardi, must have edited takes together, which that's the first time I've heard that. That's kind of those of us from a certain generation know that album, because that was one of those great jam, heavy rock, but psychedelic-y. Great. It's a great track. That and Spoonful, the live stuff.
If you want to, oh yeah, someone's mentioning Blues Creation in here. Felix Pappalardi did an album with this amazing Japanese band called Creation. So they used to be called Blues Creation, and then they changed a couple members and became Creation. And if you want to hear an awesome hard rock from Japan from like the mid 70s, listen to Creation. I would show the records, but the stream might get shut down if I show the records, because they chose interesting covers. Well, there's a couple.
Well, didn't they have to change it because there was a British band called The Creation?
No, I don't think back then, international, nobody cared. Because they were Blues Creation, and then they just became Creation.
Mine has a little weed in here.
Yeah, they all do.
Everything in your place has weed.
Let me see the cover. Is it flaking off like a one step?
A little bit. Yeah.
It's such a beautiful cover, right? Yeah. That's a wonderful record.
It's a great record. Come on.
He is a great guitar player, Dave, and I agree. It's just right after 461 Ocean Boulevard, he kind of took a back seat to his guitar playing, and the entire he always had another guitar player.
Eric Clapton got boring when he got sober.
Well, no, he didn't.
I hate to say it, but I think so.
No, because I saw him on the Money and Cigarettes tour. I think that was his comeback after getting out of rehab and reteaching himself how to play guitar. That Money and Cigarettes album was good.
Those Roots albums he did, and Don Williams songs and J.J. Cale songs in the 70s were actually pretty good, really good.
Sure, it's good, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not on fire. I'll put it that way.
This is an awesome record Blues Creation did with the singer Carmen Maki. This is a reissue, but pretty much all the Creation stuff is amazing. They were really like the biggest. They were definitely the best of like the hard rock, like, Black Sabbath style groups. This is probably their last good album, is Blues Creation, Demon and 11 Children. I love the cover on this. And this is like, when did this come out? 1971. So this is about the same time as Satori. This came out. And then, unfortunately, my favorite Creation record I can't show on stream because there's some nudity. It's of questionable taste.
Rob's show likes nudity. He
Yeah, but it's okay. Well, I'll just explain. The debut album by Creation is a black and white photo of little boys pissing.
What?
Yeah.
Send it to Mazzy.
I don't know why they decided that. But it's not.
It's basically a Banksy illustration before.
Yeah,
Banksy.
but
what about the naked butt kids on the Led Zeppelin climbing up the?
Yeah, no, this is more explicit than that.
All right.
So I'm not going to show it on stream, but you should listen to it because it's an awesome album. It's a really awesome album. And then they did this album with Felix Pappalardi. This is really good. And then they did a couple in the late 70s. They did a couple like audiophile albums that sound really good. They did this one. They did a direct to disc album. I forgot even what's this called. Live direct to disc. Creation Studio Live direct to disc. This sounds awesome, but it doesn't sound nearly as good as the next direct to disc album they did, which was.
Is that a Mud Shark?
I think so. They did this Super Rock in the Highest Voltage. This is on the EMI Pro Use series. You recognize that little Pro Use logo?
Huh.
They did this with a saxophone player. And man, this is one of the best sounding albums I've played in like the last 2 months. This sounds insane.
Really?
It's not musically, it's not their best, but it's just like one of those like demo records. Like the saxophone is like right there in the room.
Is it a fusion then?
This is more like jazz rock fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Their earlier stuff is more heavy rock. Yeah, Bobby, I would say of all their discography, the Popularity album is probably their weakest. It's still good, but it's definitely their
Okay, Michael, as an audiophile and an audio reviewer, I have a question for you based on something you just said. This is a demo record. Are demo records, I mean, you test your gear out, you show your gear off. Is the music usually not as good for future listens? Is it basically as for demoing? And once you're sitting there enjoying it, having a cocktail and a smoke, you don't want to listen to that music because it's too demonizing?
No.
I'm just being arbitrary here.
That's some records. Like there's one record I remember that I can't listen to anymore unless I'm specifically like reviewing gear, and it's that I forget the name of the artist, but it's with Pressure Cooker. I've Got the Music in Me.
Oh yeah, I have that.
It's just it's too corny.
Is it the Gloria Gaynor? Not Gloria Gaynor. Who is it?
No, it's
Thelma Houston.
Thelma Houston and Pressure Cooker. I've Got the Music in Me. That
Houston.
record sounds amazing, but man, it's just like I regret it. Like one time I had someone over that wanted to listen to the System, and I like put that on, kind of remembering that it was like a funky soul album, but then like 2 tracks in, I was like, wait, this is kind of corny. This is bad. I gotta move to something else, or they're gonna think I'm a loser.
It's very
the creation pro use record is and here's the thing, that record's not expensive. You can go on Discogs and get that for, I think with shipping from Japan, under $30.
This label, East West, is a Japanese jazz label, and they seem to have done a lot of their records were direct to disc. This is the L4. LA4.
That is a great record.
Yeah, this sounds really excellent. Yeah. This is they've made a lot of records. It's Bud Shank, Amadella.
That's just a killer fucking record, man.
Tell you, man.
Forget about it.
I have a ton of East West direct to disc records.
Elliot, I'm going to respond to someone in the Peanut Gallery. Sorry, Rob. Elliot, Don Williams albums are really good, and I sold those when I worked for ABC. And you're right, Eric Clapton and other people would cover his songs, and he was big on the country charts. But he crossed over to some artists, rootsy artists in the '70s, and great stuff. And
all I remember about him is he had giant sideburns that went down to here.
It was 1970s. Yeah.
Why is Baggy being so aggressive? Like, the last couple streams I've been on, Baggy's been like telling me to get fucked and like yelling at me.
Who's Baggy? I know who Baggy is, but does he have
Rufus T. Cat? That's Baggy, right?
Yeah, it's Baggy. Listen, take a chill pill, dude.
Did I do something to you?
No. The world did something to him.
And Rick's there. You asked me a question earlier. I'm not going to respond to the person, but no, I don't watch that guy's videos, and I don't. So I had no idea. But
what guy you talk? First of all, here's a new rule I think I'm going to implement. Do not, in the comments, do not address Mazzy directly, please. Secondly, who's the guy Rick's is talking about?
I don't want to mention his name. We don't want to mention the guy's name. One of the asshole trolls apparently has a video featuring me, and I can imagine what that is.
I mean, again.
No, I don't know it. I don't watch it.
I know the other version of me on Rachel's would call people out because I think it's hysterical. Let me be honest. I think it's funny as hell that I am the source of the problems you have in your life. And here, you have to understand, this is the way it works. You taking the time to make content demonizing me is more time, even remotely, that I spent thinking about you or even talking about you on a live stream. That's what's hysterical. Isn't it funny?
Oh, Mazzy, I want some.
Okay. I'm going to answer this because I think I'm going to do a coffee minute.
You're only allowed. Here's the deal right now. Before we ban direct comments.
You're
to
sitting
Mazzy.
around asking for
You can
people to
only
come up. You have
address
nothing to
3
say.
You're only allowed to address 3
Okay,
people.
this is my
address-
second. This is my second. Okay,
No, you've already done 4.
this is my third. Anyway, okay. Someone asked the coffee. Okay, Grafeo coffee. This is a 2-pound bag of dark roast whole beans. Now, they have just their place on North Beach. It's been there like they came to the Bay Area, San Francisco in the 30s from Italy, and they only sell beans. You can't even buy a coffee there, a drink. You can't buy a drink there, and but it was a huge article in the San Francisco Chronicle the other day. The Haas family, the young guy, one of the Haas families, now old San Francisco family, Levi
No
Strauss.
one knows who the fuck the Haas family
I'm telling
is.
you, they're the Levi Strauss family. They invested in the company, but it's not one of these billionaire companies that's going to, like VC venture that bought Blue Bottle, that's going to make it shittier than it used to be, that type of thing. They're going to keep it, but all they make is a dark roast and a light roast and decaf versions. But the secret one to get, not secret, but not so secret, is a blend of the dark and light roast, and get the whole beans, dark and light. It's not cheap. I don't get it often, but when I go down there, I pick it up. But
Hey,
it's Grafeo. It's the best coffee I've ever tasted, but it's not cheap. So
Same here.
but,
Right,
okay, here, and we're gonna have
You've
a
been
poll.
listening to the Lifestyle Hour with Norman Maslow.
yes.
But-
Oh, look who's talking,
we're gonna
cigar
have
and whiskey, man.
We're gonna have a little thing. I'm gonna give you better coffee advice than Mazzy. Fucking go out and stock up on coffee beans right now before these stupid tariffs go into effect and jack up the price to double. I'm going to Costco today. I'm gonna pick up 2 big giant bags of coffee.
Man, I want some of that
Hey,
Grafeo.
isn't it kind of nice talking about this for a change instead of another fucking version of Steely Dan?
Hey,
Give me a break.
can we do a GoFundMe campaign to get Mazzy the coffee that those
I
cats
wish
shit
I
out
was
of our bottle?
sponsored. I wish they were sponsoring my show.
Can we get cat shit coffee for Mazzy?
Okay, Michael, you're talking about lifestyle. Can you talk about your fancy schmancy shirts you're wearing? Oh, come on, let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, I just got this on sale. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah.
See,
Yes.
I can tell. That's the Michael
Yeah.
look.
You know why Michael's better than you, Mazzy? For lots of reasons, but he doesn't address people in the peanut gallery addressing them.
But okay, the gallery likes the interaction because sometimes they have their own
I don't see
conversation.
a problem with that.
Yeah, you want to bring them in. They're
Okay.
they miss the daily conversation. They don't get it anymore. So
I think Mazzy bringing up Grafeo is fine.
I didn't bring it up. Someone in the gallery did.
It's
Now
great
we've got to
coffee.
have everyone's got to have their say on whether or not they agree with Mazzy bringing up coffee.
Yeah. No, I was going to lead it. I was
We
going
got to fill the time somehow.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. What else are you gonna do?
No, but
Hey.
I want to get sponsored as well. So I'm going to start.
Hey,
doing it.
there's a comment in the peanut gallery, Mazzy, for you to address.
Sure.
Hey,
I've been using this One Love.
When Mazzy
Bob
addresses my
Marley.
comments, it makes me
This is a
feel
weed
important.
grinder that I use to grind my weed.
Yeah.
And if these guys would just sponsor me,
Yes. Do you remember those? Okay. Do you remember record stores, at least in California in the 70s, would have cases? We would sell drug paraphernalia in the Bay Area, San Francisco, at
Yeah.
least. LA. Some counties, San Mateo County, wouldn't allow it and stuff. But it was, when you think about it, looking back, we had not only papers and bongs and pipes. We had those Coke grinders. Remember those blue plastic? They looked like kind of something you'd use on a turntable. We'd have cocaine grinders. We'd have what is that? That like the baby's talc that you cut cocaine with. You'd have those little.
we used them in Eat.
Man-
I'm sorry.
Man,
We used mine in Eat.
hold on.
Use-
Can Michael do your thing? Mazzy's freebasing minute.
I don't know if I'm allowed to be on this stream anymore.
Right?
Hold
No,
on.
but it was a time that every
Okay.
good record store
Can I
had.
interrupt?
Every
Can I
good
just-
record store had a
I'm interrupting because I'm addressing a comment.
Okay.
Okay. My alma mater, Virginia Commonwealth University, went to St. Louis to play St. Louis University. Their mascot is a billigan. I don't know if anyone knows what a billigan is. I think it's some sort of demon hobgoblin. So it made national news. The game they lost, but a fight broke out in the crowd between VCU fans and St. Louis fans. And I went to a VCU message board, and they said the fight started by the VCU fan going, "What the fuck is a Billiken?" And a fight started, which is a question people generally have when they meet St. Louis people or fans of the university. That's all. That's what happened. Thank you.
Well, I got to run to
Back
work
to
pretty
talking.
soon, but I wanted to share my new collecting obsession with you, and that is I've been getting into. Has anyone here ever heard of a Japanese big band called the New Herd?
The new
The
herd.
The New Herd.
Toshiyuki.
Yeah,
Yeah,
H-E-R-D.
I've heard of them, but I don't know their music.
Yeah.
Toshiyuki Miyama and the New Herd. This is this big band. They're still around. Like I think he died like a couple years ago, but they're still like recording up until like the late 2000s. This clarinetist led this big band for over 50 years, and they made some awesome records in the 70s. Everything from like rock jazz to free jazz to like just like really wailing big band stuff. A couple albums. I mean, I need to get more of their stuff, and their albums are, some of them are inexpensive and some of them are really expensive. Like this one album, originals of this are like $1,200. But Beatball Records reissued this. This is what, I'm trying to remember the exact name of this one.
That's the album you sent me the link to listen to.
Yeah,
Right?
Sound of the Earth. This is Sound of the Earth by
Yeah.
Toshiyuki Miyama and the New Herd. Kevin Gray remastered and cut this from the original tapes. And
Now
Beatball.
I'll tell you. So Michael sent this to me to listen to. It's very good, but to me, it sounds like everything Gil Evans was doing in the 70s. So if you like Gil Evans stuff from the 70s, he did a lot of.
Is it like the Maynard Ferguson, Don Ellis stuff?
No. It's more
rock.
it has avant-garde leanings in the music, but it's literally Gil Evans toured with a big band with Billy Harper in it, and a lot of cool people. And I have in the auction, like Gil Evans does Jimi Hendrix album. It sounds like that.
Yeah. There's little hints of like stuff like Herbie Hancock in this too. Especially some of the other albums. So like this is another album that I recently picked up by them. This is a Japanese reissue because again, this one is like original of this album is like $600. This is called Yamataifu, and this one is free jazz. It's totally free jazz. Nothing like the other album. It's
Is that
free,
expensive?
well, the reissue, I got this reissue for like $50.
I got a
You
split
ordered-
from it. I'll be
You
back.
ordered a shitload of records from Korea, right?
No, this is I got this on Amazon from Amazon Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a universal reissue. You can see the little thing back there. And oh man, I didn't say goodbye to Jim. I think this is probably done. This is probably done digitally, but it sounds really good. The bass, like the drum kit and the bass on this is. I need to listen to it again and like really pay attention.
Yeah, these digital things. Did you say Kevin cut this or not?
No, that was cut in Japan.
Yeah, because it doesn't. I couldn't find dead whack. You know, if anyone's in Seattle and wants a Japanese, the one store that it's really building up a great section of imports, of new imports, in Japan especially, is Royal Records in the Queen Anne. It's on the other side by Seattle Center by KEXP. They have an extensive jazz, rock, jazz, folk, all Japan, new stuff, all this kind of stuff there. Great shop, Royal Records. It's two guys that used to work at Everyday Music, and when they closed their Seattle store, they opened their own store, and they moved to a little bit larger space about a year ago, and it's really good. So if you're in Seattle and want a lot of world music, international music, whatever you want to call it, Royal Records.
Hey, Michael, I took Joey Callio to Boogie Maru, and he just loved it. Loved it. And I ended up buying like 3 records. I would have bought more. He had a lot of good stuff in stock.
Cool.
Yeah.
The last record from this group I wanted to show, and this is actually my favorite, is Russell, that Jack's Vacant World is awesome. A friend of mine put that out. The last record I wanted to show from the New Herd is they did a couple albums on Three Blind Mice. And they remind me of, do you ever listen to those University of North Texas Jazz Lab records?
No.
Those are worth it because I have a friend that plays in the band with me here. It's a jazz saxophonist that went to UNT, and all throughout the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, they were recording these jazz big band, like free jazz big band albums down at UNT, and they'd release one every year, and they're awesome. Like he brought one over for me to listen to, and they're incredible. But it reminds me a lot of this. This is Toshiyuki Miyama and the New Herd. The album is Shuko Mizuno is their guest artist. Shuko Mizuno's Jazz Orchestra 73, and they did this on Three Blind Mice. And not only is this great playing, the sound on this is incredible. It makes me really want to collect more 70s Three Blind Mice stuff if the music's good. Because the sound on this is as good or better than any of the best Blue Note stuff. Yeah.
Now, real quick, I don't mean to switch drastically. They announced. We talked about they announced all those new Pablos.
Yeah.
But can you speak a little bit about the You and Me? The Count
yeah,
Basie
that's the most
record?
of all the Pablos. That I've heard. That's the best sounding and the most dynamic. And I'm very curious to see if the one AP does is better than the original.
Now, you were at a audio fest?
Yeah, with both of you guys.
No, but you talked that you went to one where someone pulled that record out and demoed it.
Yeah,
and then
Jim heard it.
And then overnight, I heard it with Jim, with you, and you were in that room too. I since found 3 copies of it, but my point is, you were at this audio fest where someone broke it out and played it, and literally overnight, every copy on Discogs sold out, and it jacked the price up of the record.
Yeah,
am I wrong about that?
Yeah, it happened a little bit, and then I think that died down a little. But there was, for about a year, that record got like 3 times as expensive as it normally was. Now it went from being a $8 record to being like a $25 record, but still.
More than that.
Really?
Yeah. But now it's coming out. That's one I recommend everyone should pick up.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what they do. I mean, it's just an incredibly dynamic sounding recording. Yeah. All right. I think I gotta run, unfortunately. But
okay. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Michael. Very nice shirt, and I think you wear it well.
All right.
When you're your age, when you're slender and thin, you can wear clothes. I remember those days well. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mazzy. All right. You guys have a good stream.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. I'm just responding because you and I are boring with each other here, Wax. But there is a question.
Thanks for putting that out there.
Okay. No equals a question we can all answer. Bring no equals. What are you guys paying for Tone Poets and Classics? Tone Poets in stores in Seattle are $38 to $39. Okay, in a store. The stores, Easy Street, they get a couple copies. Basically, it's a $40 record.
Well, yeah, but here, no equal. Here's what I do. You Discover, which is owned by Universal, which owns Blue Note, has sales all the time. And typically the sales they usually have are 30% off. At the end of last year, they had 50% off everything in stock.
Yeah, for about a week.
Wait and you know what? Typically, Amazon matches those prices when that happens. I just wait till they go on sale. I mean, that's what I do. I typically don't buy new reissue records at full price unless I really want the album when it comes out. So that's what I do.
Yeah. Canada's, it's unfortunate what things cost in Canada above America. I mean, I am 2 hours from Canada, the border, and it's amazing. It just, I guess is it tax policy, import taxes, protectionism? I don't know about that, But a Tone Poet is still a good deal for what you get. I mean, there's this whole, if you did you watch the chat with the RTI guys on Westman?
I watched a little bit.
It's actually pretty good. And I think they were they have to step lightly because they have a business and they have to protect themselves. They can't dump on their clients. And the bottom line is they didn't, one of the guys said, maybe Kevin's choice of words of a scam was not right. I don't agree with that, but he talked about it, and what it was. The bottom line is, RTI as a pressing plant or any of these pressing plants doesn't come up with these special formulas. What happens is a label will say, hey, can you do a box? Can you do this? Can you do that? And they figure it out and they charge accordingly. So basically they said the one-step formula that Kevin's talking about is different now because that was like 20 years ago or 25 years ago, and it has improved according to them. Now, I don't know if it affects the sound, but he says the process is safer. But still, it's amazing that, when you do these one steps, they're literally about $100 more than we know that now a $40 record like a Tone Poet with a gatefold or a craft that's $40 or $35. You can do a great record. You don't need super vinyl or clarity vinyl. You can do a great well-pressed record and sell it for $35 to $40 retail.
Hey, Joel. Jim.
Yes.
Go buy the Analog Productions reissue of Bags Groove. Get that one. It's probably better than the Japanese.
Isn't that the craft? Is it a craft or no?
No, it's in Chad's Analog Productions. Go there and buy
Chad
it.
does some crossovers.
That record was only mono.
Like the Bluesville are a collaboration with Chad and Kraft.
No one talked about Bluesville.
But it's the same, like the Prestige stuff.
No, it isn't. It's Chad Analog Productions reissue of Bags Groove.
Okay.
That's the one to go buy. It's $40.
You're so negative, Waxed.
No, I'm keeping the stream on point. I'm not.
Doc, can you set them straight? Tell them a story about a dead pony or something.
I don't know. I got a live cat. How's that?
Don't do anything to that cat on the screen.
My cat's gonna run away. Watch. Bye.
I did find a dead mouse in our bathroom yesterday.
Okay. I led you on, didn't I?
It wasn't beheaded or anything, but
yeah. Hey, Mazzy, let me ask you a question.
Can I answer it? You're addressing me.
Not in the chat. You lived in your house for quite a while, right?
11 years.
How many dead rodents have you found in it?
None.
Thank you.
You need a cat.
I've lived in my
I wanted to have a couple of dead VC people who stayed here, but that didn't happen.
So here's a story. We still have a dog door and a cat door downstairs that pets can go in and out, and it probably is an entry for other animals, and it certainly was an entry for a raccoon back in the day that would come in and eat our cat's food and then leave. And I set have-a-heart traps like twice, and he got in and out. I could never keep him. And then one night he was up on our deck, and then we heard him out there. And I have an old 12 gauge that my dad, I got from my dad when he passed away. At any rate, I went out on the deck, and what I realized is raccoons are wily. They're clever, but they're not that smart, because this thing didn't run away from me. He sat there in the tree and just hissed at me when I was 5 feet from him. So it didn't take a great shot to dispatch the raccoon, which I did.
Hey, Mazzy.
Wow. A murder.
Mazzy and Jim, you might want to join in on this. I have an idea. I think we should all three become concert promoters, and our first tour should be Dr. Robert Tells Stories.
He should open up for bands.
That'd be a good one.
Sometimes you used to have comedians open up for bands or
you
poets.
Rent like synagogues and churches.
Just on an economic basis, I don't think I can let you guys take that risk, because I don't think it's wise.
Hey, and then the crowd would shout, Dr. Robert, tell the raccoon story.
Yeah. Actually, we could give the crowd shotguns and let them take shots at the doc.
I think they may more likely shout, please be quiet and go away. Something like that.
You know what I don't see enough of in this day and age is showing your disapproval by throwing tomatoes at people. I'd like that to make a big comeback.
I think that's good.
Mm.
You put something sharp and heavy inside the tomato before you.
I'm going to say this statement, and we don't have to talk about it because we can on Rob's stream. But the best comedy bit act was RFK's thing yesterday. If you watch that,
was it funny?
The guy. Well, it was funny because he doesn't know answers to a job. Like if you're getting interviewed for a job you kind of like bone up and know about the job and what it entails and your expertise. He didn't know these things. Did you say this?
I think
might have.
everyone can agree he's a putz. That's
I
it.
know.
We can
And he
move on.
probably will get in, right? But it's just it was
I
like
like
a
that
caveat.
shirt. The baby onesies were good.
Yeah, the baby onesie that burned, that was hysterical.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You know,
Here's what I'm doing. I'm
I'll tell
enjoying
you,
life.
no.
I'm enjoying the little tiny life I've created for myself. That's what my
Yeah.
plan.
things are going crazy
You know-
here at
you know what I'm
RCN
gonna
World
do?
Headquarters.
Jim, guess
Dr.
what I'm
Robert,
gonna
you should apply for that job.
Jim, guess what I'm gonna do
What are you
today.
gonna do? What's Rob gonna do
Yeah,
today?
you're gonna guess. You're gonna guess correctly what I'm gonna do today.
Record shop.
Rob's gonna go hop in his car and he's gonna go to Record Safari.
No, not Safari today. I'm going
Oh.
south. I'm doing my
Sound
south. run.
stations.
Now,
He's going to
Rob,
sound
do you
stations.
have particular days for particular stores, or just is it more random?
Well, it depends because if Safari posts stuff that I would like, I might run over there. But today, it's a combination of records and doing some errands. So I'm going south. There are 3 stores that I hit south of where I live. But my typical run is to go Safari, Atomic, Freak Beat, and then
Amoeba.
I work near Amoeba, so I'll go over to Amoeba.
You know how lucky we are to have there's 3 record stores down south you can go to.
Yeah.
There's
Mm-hmm.
they're everywhere, man.
There's 10 record stores that I go to.
Yeah, we have about that. We have a lot.
Seattle has a lot.
Well, LA has more. It's a bigger area. We have let's see, 1, 2, 3,
Okay,
4,
so
5, 6, 7, 8. We have about a 10 or 12, but then you go a little further out.
Yeah,
There's
more than that.
maybe 15.
Portland has the most record stores per capita that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think so too.
I've said this before. The San Fernando Valley has approximately the same population as the Portland area. San Fernando Valley has about 5 or 6 record stores that are doing pretty good. Portland has about 26 record stores in the same population. I don't think any of them are thriving the way they do down here. They're just too much competition.
You know, the thing is, whenever you hear someone complain, you have to work it. And it's a hard, Dr. Robert, if you're listening, at one point, I remember when Dr. Robert, before retired, he said, Mazzy, maybe we should some guy had a little thing in Portland. Maybe we should try to buy this place and open a store. I said, Doc, that's the last thing in the fucking world I would be at my age, opening a record store. It's a lot of hard work to compete, to dig through people's attics, to get collections. It's physically a lot of work as well.
Well, I mean,
you do it.
Well, Patrick had said I put in the work. But I
You
don't
do.
see it as that way. It's
A lot of guys bail out of this business because they can't take the fucking weight anymore.
Right.
The weight on their knees is too much, period.
Yeah. But
Oh,
also, you don't, if you have a store, it multiplies the problem. You have to, obviously, you clean everything, but you have to clean stuff faster, prep it, price it, put it out, pay your rent, your insurance, your employees, it's a lot, an overhead.
You have to be willing to sit there and clean records all day long and listen to the same bullshit from the same customers all day long.
But they like doing that.
Well, I loved doing it when I was in my 20s. I loved it. There was no better job.
Dr. Robert was showing, in my mind, the worst way to make coffee is with the French press. The French press, you can't clean them. They're impossible to clean after you make the coffee. And little butts of coffee still get through into the coffee.
He uses the Humming Guru.
French press is fine.
I use the pour over, the Chemex.
But you don't have to clean it because you get a little of the patina. Have you ever used a wok? Have you ever cooked with a wok?
Explain to me how you get the grounds out of the
You don't
bottom
have to. Have you ever cooked with a wok? You want to season the wok.
Well,
you don't want
here's your worst quality, Mazzy.
A few grams aren't going to kill you.
Hold on. Everybody makes coffee, Mazzy. You don't have to compare it to a wok. Everyone makes fucking coffee. You can talk you could actually talk about the process of you have a electric coffee maker, you have a percolator, you
Okay.
have everybody makes fucking coffee.
Yeah.
You don't have
I
to
don't
bring
use a
wok
French
into the
press.
conversation.
I've tried Fresh Press. It's not for me. If I want a cup, I will just do a pour over drip, a one-off drip.
So I have 5 ways to make coffee. The main way I make it is with a Chemex. It's a glass
We know.
craft that this a chemist made that uses vacuum technique to make the coffee.
There's no vacuum technique.
I
It's a
didn't bring up
pour-over.
this coffee.
The way the way the water is pulled through the grounds is a
It's
vacuum.
gravity. It's gravity. Anyway,
No, it's gravity. Yes, but the vacuum, it makes a vacuum seal and it pulls the water through the grounds. It is the best way to make a cup of coffee.
10 years ago, I got a Barista Express, a Breville Barista Express. I make 5 cups a day. I ride the shit out of that thing. I make Americanos all day long.
Okay. Oakenfield is correct. So actually, technically, they think
Mocha
the
Master.
technique, hold on, which you can do with manually with a pour over. The Mocha Master, where are they made? Oakenfield? Are they made in
Denmark or Sweden or something?
Denmark or Sweden? These machines are expensive, but the way that they make can I talk?
Sorry.
The way that they make coffee is the way it's suggested is the dispersion of the water over the grounds.
Not just that, but the temperature. It's got to be.
Hold on. Actually, no, that's the worst. I'm glad Dr. Robert doesn't understand. He's muted. So the way to make the coffee technically is it moistens the grounds first.
Yes,
because that takes it blooming. That supposedly takes the gases out of the coffee and makes it more better on your stomach. It doesn't make it as much.
Ivan, coffee has a lot of good. It's
the bitterness.
Coffee
antitoxin.
There's more fiber in a cup of coffee than there is in a fresh orange juice.
Yeah. I don't drink a lot anymore, though. I have 1 coffee in the morning. That's it. So I'm not.
Well, my method is drink as much coffee as you can all day long.
Whatever works for you.
And it doesn't affect my
whatever
sleep.
works for any of these people. If you found a system and a bean that works for you, that's all that matters. It's like records, you like what you like, and that's fine.
There was a time when my favorite was 7-Eleven French roast.
Can we do a GoFundMe for the wax to buy a Mocha Master? They're like $400 machines.
How about a GoFundMe to buy a record flattening machine?
You'll get your money. You get your money. Hey, look at him. Look what Dr. Robert telling his wife a story about a dead rabbit.
You're muted, Doc.
No, he's meant to be muted.
Oh, there you go. They're unmuted. So, I'm thinking a coffee talk like this would never have come up on Rachel's, but it's kind of making me think I shouldn't have gotten out of bed in the first place. I don't know.
I hear you. All right.
But
hey, you know what? How Dr. Robert starts this morning.
Don't you think the best thing about these kind of streams in the morning where the conversation goes in different directions, you show records, you talk a little bit about coffee, you talk a little bit about driving around Los Angeles or whatever it is, about juggling, about
never get that on Rach.
Shooting a raccoon out of a tree. You want a mix. I think it's good. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Hold on. Harry's currently they're $339, but you can find them for around $390. Yes, I want a Mocha Master. That's my next.
I don't know what it is.
All my.
Can you bring up a photograph what they look like? I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
It's too tall for my.
I can look myself, but for the audience,
the Mocha Masters.
Yeah.
You know what? The Mocha Master sells refurbished ones for discounted that they refurbish.
You're going to buy it once. Just get the new one.
Yeah, these are lifelong coffee makers.
The
So
French
the
press
Mocha Master
is
comes in
lifelong.
different colors, but
It's-
that's it. That's the Mocha Master.
Now, what's
They have
different
different
from a normal drip?
Okay, so it's moving around. It keeps.
This one,
So see that thing that
Yeah.
goes over the.
Yeah.
it applies suction.
It might be patented.
It
It's the way it
applies
disperses. Can I
negative
talk?
suction.
Shush. Let me finish my thought. It disperses the water, so the grounds bloom. So it has it first will send out a little bit of water to bloom the grounds, and then it's timed. But the way the water is dispersed over the grounds.
So,
is
like when you
perfect.
do a good pour over, you don't just pour in the middle. You kind of go slowly
You
around.
gotta let it bloom.
Yeah, you
You-
guys are
you
using
should-
words I've never
you should
associated with
pour.
coffee. Right.
Well, I actually have the special kettle with the long spout like that. It allows you to disperse the water over
Like
the
the
ground.
fellows, you know, the
I'm
fellows.
drinking coffee.
You
The
Hey,
clearly,
there's
fellows
a
are
guy-
nice to the
I'll be
all
back.
you
clearly
you-
thought much more about this than I have. I don't even know
Hey,
the
all
vocabulary.
you UK. Well, I did coffee YouTube before I got into VC videos. The
Coffee.
guy, I think his name is James Hoffman, is a UK barista. He's won the Barista of the Year competition many times. He is a true coffee snob.
Mm.
His YouTube channel is awesome. He'll review shitty coffee things and good coffee things.
Is there there's a YouTube coffee community? Because I
Of
would
Oh,
course,
sure,
it-
it's huge.
sure it
Yeah,
is. Hey,
probably
Tom
bigger than
Rashawn,
VC.
why does Tom Rashawn make coffee in his garage, or did you get it as a wedding gift or as a birthday gift, and you just stored it away and don't use it? I mean, you should.
Hold on, Tom. Can I buy it from you? Why do you keep it in your garage? If you don't use it, I will use it.
Trade him
Trust
some
me.
records.
So I've got another shotgun story if you want to go there.
No.
And this one actually doesn't involve any animal death, but we had a sea lion, 1,300 pounds. This thing weighs, and
RFK has these stories.
yeah, well, yeah, no, this one's better than RK. So this thing would come up and it would get on my next door neighbor's. He would flop himself up on his dock. And I'm sorry, I know that's kind of, I don't know what, just we're, lucky to have a dock, but the thing would come flop up on the dock and it was gonna break it. So one night I'm out having a cigar with my buddy, and downstairs my next door neighbor is out with pots and pans, banging these pots and pans to try to discourage the sea lion from coming towards his dock, and the sea lion is just hanging, just going back and forth about 50 yards off in front of this guy's dock, not worrying about what he's doing, and he's just waiting because he's going to go up on the dock. So I went down with my gun and my buddy and said, look, if you want, I'll shoot into the water. I'm not going to hit the guy, but just to scare him off. But only if you want me to do it. And so my neighbor says, sure, thank you. So I put a shell in the chamber and I aim about 20 feet in front of the sea lion and take a shot. And he knew he'd been shot at because they steal salmon. So the fishermen hate these guys. They'll take salmon off the line if a fisherman's got one, right? So a lot of these fishermen carry guns, and this guy clearly knew what he was in for. He totally dove tail up as soon as I pulled the trigger. But then what he did was he just went another 50 yards further so they couldn't, get close to him with the gun. And he stayed there the whole night, up and down, up and down, and up and down. But I will say that since that night, he's never gotten back on that dock, which was probably 10 years ago now. So problem solved. And he still patrols these waters.
Hey, and if you act out to buy the tickets for Dr. Robert's tour, you'll hear stories like that. And Dead Raccoon.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start a shotgun, shotgun community on YouTube. I don't know.
Who brought it up? If you want the best grinder, Christopher, you're right. A burr grinder is the most best and accurate grinder. I bought mine 20 years ago. They've gone up in price. Like my grinder right now is like, the versions are now, the mini Mazer is like $1,300 now, but I got it.
You can get a good burr grinder for around $70 on Amazon.
Yeah, well,
the one that people recommend.
Yeah, these are like semi-commercial, but we had it for the studio. So when you're doing it like for a whole studio,
listen, people know Coffee YouTube, but go subscribe to James Hoffman. He's good. He's a little pompous sometimes, but good.
We're not talking about that kind of grinder, Scott.
Hold on. I think Dr. Robert last stream threw his hands up in the air and stormed off because he couldn't show his records.
No. I just had to go, but I don't storm off.
Again, Dr. Robert, the little note things on the back. They're fine on the back.
I know you love them.
You know, I agree with you on that, Rob.
You're putting them on the plastic.
Well,
so just turn it on the other side.
I get what you're saying. It just would take me countless hours to do that now. But and I will say, I always choose a place that really doesn't obstruct the overall cover art. So these are thoughtfully chosen. But this guy, do you guys know Donny Hathaway?
Yeah. It looks like you wrote a prescription.
That's Baggy's favorite artist. Where are you, Baggy?
The fact that it's unreadable has nothing to do with whether it's.
I have those. That's a good album.
These are both so good. He only put out a handful of albums.
Because he had mental problems and he killed himself.
And with Roberta Flack too.
Right, with Roberta Flack. Roberta Flack, I think, kind of discovered him. He reminds me, his voice so much and his style reminds me so much of Stevie Wonder. It really is just great music.
What's his signature song? It's my whatever. What's that song?
The Ghetto.
Yeah. I spend many
the live album. The live album is excellent.
Yeah, I've got that too. I found these both recently, so I think I've got most of his stuff.
Had you not have those before? Or those new?
Yeah, these are new for me. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, look.
Last 6 months.
These are the comments I want. It takes countless hours to pull the record out and turn it around.
Well, it does when there are more than 10,000 records.
But what you can do is when you play records out of your collection, every time you play a record,
turn it around.
That's when you do it. You don't have to do it all at once.
Well, we're trying to make you a better man, Dr.
Thank you for these thoughtful suggestions. And I guess I'll say I'll take it under advisement.
Okay. You have a professional in the audience. Tom Rashawn is a designer of record covers. And he says it's destroying the initial interaction with the cover. And he's an artiste.
Well,
you should listen to him.
You know, every time I get a record out, I have a little pang of heartache now as I look at it. So Tom is probably not far off.
Mark, cleaning grounds out of a French press sucks. That's why it sucks.
I got to take apart my burr machine and clean the burr out. I think it's time. It's been a while. I had to replace it once.
Actually, you want me to give you? I'll give you a helpful tip for cleaning
a brush
grinder. No.
Okay.
Go buy instant rice. Pour the instant rice into the grinder and do a few grounds of the rice.
I did not know that.
Yep, that is the way to. There you go. If you guys learned anything from me today, that is the way to.
Will that make me a riced latte?
Can I ask?
Don't use regular rice; it's too hard. Get instant rice. Pour it into your grinder and do a bunch of grinding.
Wow.
That will clean out your grinder.
Can I ask? How do you get the rice to bloom exactly?
You pour it on a dead raccoon in Dr. Robert's backyard.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, Tom.
Easy peasy.
Sorry.
You are horrible at remembering what you have. I bet you sold it cheap too. I would have given you more money for it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's stunned by that rice suggestion.
Yeah. I'm thinking that it doesn't really clean it. It just puts white where there was black and makes
it actually. I learned it from watching YouTube videos. So shove it, Dr. Roberts.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let's look at this.
So then one of these guys just died within the
best way to clean
them. Sam just died.
Sam just died. Right? So I think Dave was already gone. So they ended up kind of with an acrimonious split up, but their stuff's all good. This was pretty much the last of their records that I didn't have. This is a promo copy. So, I don't know if we've ever talked about promo copies. Are they better? Are they different? Any reason to seek them out?
I'm a little scared, Gail. I'm show you how to use the shop vac.
Oh, she's
Oh,
gonna use
you
a
know
shop
what?
vac.
Actually, all right, they're near you, Mazzy. Those two ladies, those are good videos. But I thought
Oh, I
they
know.
should-
I know them. That's Seattle Coffee Gear. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know them.
but I think
I
they
don't
kind of
know them personally, but I know
they
them.
slowed up doing videos. Those two are good. That
They have-
lady's funny. That lady's
They-
funny.
Let's see. They have almost 700,000
Oh.
subscribers.
Hold on, Dr. Robert here. Cheryl says she's done it and it works.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Oh, all
And,
right.
and I'll come and get some mailers from you. We're actually Sunday, Tom. We're going to PCC.
So there's no the flea market doesn't happen in January. Is that right? The Pasadena.
Okay, it's January will soon be over.
Oh,
Here's how it works. The Orange County Record Show is at the last Sunday of the month.
Mm.
The Pasadena Community College Flea Market is on the first Sunday of every month.
Okay, there you go.
The reason PCC doesn't happen in January is one big giant reason. What would you think that reason would be? Pasadena.
Is it possibly the Rose Parade and Rose Bowl?
It goes right by there. Yes, it would be impossible to do it.
Mm. Okay. Well,
I'm sure the fire had something to do with things recently.
No, it didn't have anything to do with anything.
Really?
They
is
still
the fire still smoldering, or what's going on there? Are we done?
we had 2.5 days of rain.
Yeah.
I don't watch the news, but I know that before the rain, the Palisades fire was like 86% contained, and then it said after the rain 96.
Yeah, good.
Let me see what the Palisades fire is at this current containment. It is currently at 97% contained.
Good.
From all that rain we had, did something.
Thank God.
But you know what? We don't have these a lot in LA. Thunderstorms.
Yeah,
I know they have them out in the desert, but all weekend we had lightning, and you know what can cause fires?
I
Lightning.
hear lightning.
Can I use couscous for cleaning the burr?
No, because that would probably stay in there. It is couscous technically.
I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to make the stream more interesting.
No, you make it less interesting.
What about lice off of a dead mouse's body?
That should be the title of your next album.
You know, it is such a rare event that you're stunned into silence.
Hey, Harry,
Once
I
in a
sent
while.
the link. Harry, I sent the link out in the thread we're all on. So go there, and you can see the link is there. Yes, thank you. I'm a better hang than Mazzy and more of a coffee expert than he is.
You know, that's fine.
Here's what I seriously, here's what I would like you to do today if you do leave the house. Go buy a box of instant rice and try my suggestion, then report back to me tomorrow.
I will. I'm going to watch a couple of videos and then I will do it.
Because you know what's going to happen? If there's any remnants of rice in there, it will come out when you grind coffee.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
It won't affect the taste of your coffee.
Yeah.
Couscous will.
Mm. Okay.
Got it.
These are
because
it's such a learning time here. It's just so.
How many years? Here's a good question for you, Dr. Robert. How many? And it's sort of medical. How many years was Jackie Wilson in a coma?
Golly, I don't know the answer to that. He put out a hell of a lot of records, and I know Elvis kind of thought he was like an Elvis impersonator. This is another promo record. I don't know. I don't really know his history that well, but good stuff. I think worth chasing down. It's really hard to get all of his stuff, and I don't even have close to all of his
I got a question for you, Doc. What did Jackie Wilson say?
Yes, I know the Van the Man reference. Love that song too. So. He is good. He's a good songwriter, and he had good taste in music. He liked Fats Domino too. That's what Domino's about.
Who was the singer? Who was the singer? Didn't last long. Who played Jackie Wilson in Was he in La Bamba?
La
I
Bamba.
forget who played him in La Bamba.
I don't know.
know that one.
That is an excellent record, instrumental record.
Jackie Wilson was in a coma for 9 years.
9 years.
Yes.
Man, let me go. Let me go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Petite.
That
Yeah.
stuff, I think that stuff wouldn't happen now, really. I think it's
What's the lot? Your experience in being in hospitals? Did you ever come across someone as a long-term coma patient?
I don't recall that I did, but I wouldn't have, because it doesn't fit with, they wouldn't need what I have to offer.
But there are hospitals with long-term patients that are some kind of lore where you would in conversation go, oh, that guy's been in the hospital for 3 years or something.
I don't think insurance companies would allow it anymore.
Well, there's that. I think if it happens, it's probably somebody who is totally alone in the world and doesn't have somebody to speak for them and say they would want the support withdrawn at a certain point. I just think, it's not that we can't do that. It's just, I think we've kind of moved socially beyond thinking that's a good thing. So, yeah, I don't know. There's some movie out now or TV show coming on about some woman who's got amnesia from a brain injury.
I watched it.
Any good?
I think it's sort of, there was a movie with William Hurt where he was a mean doctor and then bashed his head and came out of it as a nice person.
Yeah, that movie's not my favorite.
Is that what happened to you the opposite way?
That was called The Doctor.
I'm not a big fan of the medical soap opera type of drama like Grey's Anatomy. I watched the first episode. It's not getting good reviews. It's an okay episode, but it's veering into the soap opera-ishness, and I don't like that. Yeah. I heard the show that Noah Wiley's on called The Pit on Max, which is the same people who did ER, is really good medical show.
I haven't seen it. I tend to I have watched this new comedy, The St. Dennis. I think it's actually set in an Oregon hospital. That I've only seen 2 episodes. One of them didn't have really anything medical. It could have just been The Office. I mean, it didn't matter.
It's what we call in the biz a situation comedy.
Situation comedy, yeah. So just personalities and jokes and yada yada yada. But the one episode did have some medical stuff, and I actually did like it. So I'll go back and probably watch a few more of those.
The trouble is they always have a musical episode, one like where everyone sings. Okay, I want to, the other day when I brought up the movie that a few people had issues with, the Emilia Perez film, right?
Not a few. It's a polarizing movie.
Yeah, totally polarizing. So
that's the one.
Yesterday on Amoeba's Instagram, they showed that they had the soundtrack in stock, and I just wrote in the comments, I love the movie because I like the movie. Boy, did I get pushback from people who like that movie are racist. Why don't you read the comments? Whether people think like other comments are going to affect my interest or like. I didn't know anything about the polarization. I went in, watched it as a film for 2 hours and enjoyed it. It went in directions I didn't expect. It was a style I didn't expect. I know Jose came on, and as a Mexican, or he's from Central America, lives in Mexico, that a lot of Mexicans have their reasoning why they don't like it because it was a French director. It's one movie that I enjoyed, and it was an interesting movie to take, to do a musical within that storyline, take different directions. I thought it was and now people are upset it was nominated for so many Academy Awards. So it's really interesting how God, people are really upset if you tell them you like that movie, which is kind of weird to me.
I find the fact that they're upset about the production and all that as opposed to the subject interesting.
Well, they said it's a racist movie. Well, someone called me, like, anyone who likes that movie is a racist because they like that movie. A Spanish actress plays the lead. Another woman is a mix of Puerto Rican and African American. French director. Interesting. Anybody else here see it? Does anyone? I want to know if anyone. Now, don't criticize you haven't seen it. Has anyone seen it around here?
Seen what?
Emilia Perez.
Yeah,
The
I
movie.
have no desire.
It's on Netflix.
I know.
You know, it's Amelia Paris. It's on Netflix. They produced it. It's nominated for like 12 Academy Awards or something. Michelle, who doesn't usually like musicals, said you got to watch this movie. It was kind of dramatic, and I hate musicals, but I love this film, and it's because of her, because I trust her movie. You know, so you saw it, Ivan. You said it's a bad movie. I liked it. It goes in a direction I would never expect it. You know, I didn't like it.
I don't.
It wasn't
don't
the
know
best
one
movie I've
person-
seen all year.
I don't know one person in my social circle that liked it.
And they've
And
seen it.
I have a lot of film people
Yeah,
that
Harry,
I
I agree that their
interact
actors
with,
in the part.
and they didn't like it.
Let me know we're going to talk records again.
What language are you speaking, Rix? What language is that? Is that
Is that the name of the film? Te. Oh, he's got his H's.
okay?
Dr. Robert is showing the Mangione Brothers record.
Anyway, so Ivan has seen it. Okay, Ivan has seen it.
All right.
So
All right. Congratulations, Ivan. What record
Here.
are you showing?
Do you know this record?
No one knows that record. Tell everyone.
Ruby
about it.
Brandt and George Barnes Quartet.
Mhm.
Look at the. I love this photograph because there's Mazzy. Is there something wrong with the aspect or something of this?
Well, it looks like the guy on the right has. You know, it almost looks. I don't think it is. It almost looks like the two shots were done separately and Photoshop before pre-Photoshop. You know,
No,
Because
they're
it looks like
next. The
Well,
camera's
also-
off.
The player's head is too small.
well, I
The
think
camera's off to the side, and the other guy's
Anyway.
leaning in.
I
Okay.
think-
one
Great
guy's
record.
one guy's forward. It's the lens perspective is off. Yeah,
No, one of them's bigger than the other one is all.
and he
Yeah.
just has a big head.
Yeah,
This is a $3 record. It
body.
sounds great. The music is great. It's lots of guitars and no
The
drums.
acceptable term, Jim, is cheap heat.
Cheap heat.
Yes.
Okay, this is cheap heat, baby. I like that.
Is
Cheap
that the
heat.
only acceptable term?
Ruby, yeah, I'm learning. Rob's with the kids, with
Yeah,
the youngers.
is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Rob, say this. Say I'm young and I'm foolish yet. Say it 10 times real fast.
No, because none of that is true. I only state truth comments.
I'm young and I'm foolish yet. I'm young and I'm foolish yet. I'm young and I'm foolish yet.
Yeah, there you go.
So
I don't
do
fall for tricks.
I do got to show this before we get off. So I got this from University of Vinyl, and it is an RL. It's my first RL copy, and it's VG. I'd say it's VG. It's got a few marks. I haven't yet played it. It just arrived yesterday. But look at this. The guy who owned it had the same last name that I do. So that's got to be.
Oh, wow.
Maybe he didn't know how to draw a heart and he just liked it so much.
No,
He-
yeah, actually, I know the story behind this.
Okay.
The guy, keep holding it up.
Okay.
The guy on the back, turn it around.
Go back. Mm.
The guy mistakes his H's for F's.
There you go.
Oh,
Now, Dr. Robert,
Mm.
doesn't it feel good to show a record that doesn't have an obnoxious sticker across the front of it?
I was just trying to think where I'm going to put it. I think right here is where it'll fit nicely.
Play the damn thing. Tell us what it
That's
sounds
such
like.
an iconic record. Do not mess
Rock
it up.
and roll,
anybody.
Dave.
I know. Well, I'm looking forward. So, and again, I want to call out University of Vinyl. He was very, man, it was well packed and timely.
Dr. Robert,
Nicely done.
you want a shout out. When you call out, it's a negative thing.
Oh.
Shout out is
Oh my goodness!
You have
gracious.
more rules than Rachel.
This is
Who
like
wants to buy my Hannah?
I have rules that make you a better person.
I don't
That
think so. I
support
don't
you.
think that's the
I'm
fact
not
of the case.
Now, that's a little bit out in the weeds, I think, but whatever.
I'm okay. You know what? Here's my suggestion. Maz, can you and Dr. Robert, can you lock Mazzy in a room for 2 hours and just tell him your stories?
Tom,
Well, I'm
Tom,
afraid it's
Sean,
merged.
and I,
I'm afraid.
Tom, Sean, and I agree about our record storage. Now, we're not telling other people, but I agree with, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What do you mean outside of the sleeve?
You know, putting it back and showing the record. Like
Oh,
he
it's
doesn't
so-
like
oh.
he doesn't like doing that.
they don't like my stickers.
I
on the
want to see the front and back covers. You know, I don't want to. Yeah.
I don't want to bother. I don't want to handle the cover to have to take it out and fuck
That's
around
what
with
it's
it.
for. It's
Well,
like,
yeah. No, not really. Not if you have one of those plastic things like this.
I know.
See, I have one of these plastic units that makes another cover, and it's not scratchable. You can't.
I don't know
So,
anyone
it
who
works.
put records like that up until the last maybe 15 years.
That's probably right. But I have said
How
before.
long have you been collecting records? I've been doing this my whole life.
Me too. 60 years.
Why? But why would you want to destroy this beautiful piece of art?
But I have that record in mind, and I've got it in
Now-
1968. It's not destroyed.
That's because you play your records once every 3 years. But having said that,
Actually, I play about records 6 hours, 7 hours a day. I play music.
you have 3,000 records. I mean, you have 7,000 records.
I have about
So
7,000-8,000.
anyway, having said that, you know who doesn't use any protection at all? Doesn't use any condoms on his record covers, except for super fancy ones? Fremer. He
Well,
doesn't. He doesn't
Jim,
use.
when I
he doesn't give
moved
a shit.
before I
He doesn't give a
moved to
shit about the
Seattle,
cover.
before I moved here 11 years ago, except for a few rare Beatles like a Butcher cover or something, I never had any of my albums in outer sleeves. None
I
of them.
remember there was a time when I didn't know any better as well, man.
Yeah. But my
It was
record,
more than
people even respond to how your records look so clean when I show
Hey,
these records.
Back in the
I take
day,
care of them.
hold on. Back in the day, a candy bar used to cost a nickel.
That's not. Yeah. No. I take. You know, if you take care of your shit and you don't like push it together and you put the records away. You,
nah. Nah.
Well, can I say I think it's good advice to not push your shit together.
Yeah.
I've never
since I've been disc.
Wait,
I'm like,
is Dr. Robert about to tell evacuating your bowels story?
as I discog my records,
evacuation will kill us all. Wax.
I'm about 3/4 into discog my collection. As I discog my record, I put an outer sleeve in now. That's what I've been doing since I moved here.
Well,
Let me ask you a question, Mazzy. What percentage of your records have you played only twice? Period. Ever.
5%.
Okay. So 5% of, so
Yeah.
about 400
Remember,
records.
there was about a 15 to 18 year period where my records were stored in that time because of my CD, this journey, that my
We don't
records were
talk
stored
about
and
that
they
one.
weren't played for 18 years and they were boxed up
Wow.
safe. So you knock,
All right, well,
15,
You got to take
18 years.
18 years out. So if you take those 18 years out, you've only been listening to records for 4 years.
40 years, 42 years only.
Yeah,
Only
you
42
know what?
years.
Wow.
Jim, what you're trying to accuse Mazzy of being is a leap year vinyl listener.
I mean,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
me, why have the record if you're not going to listen to it? As I said, I have a library. When I'm in the mood, I'll like the best thing about doing those whack-a-moles, I pull things randomly that I think, and 9 out of 10 times I play all the records after I pull those records for whack-a-moles. And it's
I'm
things
just being a
like,
jerk. I have 3,000 records, and I don't see how having more records than that would. I think I don't know.
you don't need them. No, you don't need
I
them.
think that's hard to listen to them all. I agree. I can't.
is.
I can't claim to listen to every record.
No, but when you go to the library, you don't read all the books. You're all the time.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, but I don't have a library in my fucking house.
I do, but it's my Beatle library, right?
But those books you read.
I've read again probably 90% of those books.
There you
Yeah,
go.
some books
Yeah.
I never read too, but
Yeah,
I don't
there
know.
are books that I bought
My
that you want.
3,000 have about 200, 250 Zappa records.
Hey,
I
did
wanna
you
read-
see,
It's a lot of Zappa.
Jim, did you see that the Safari posted a Zappa record?
No,
I
what did
sent
you
you the
post?
thing. I sent it to you. Man, do you not read text or what?
I don't know how to handle social media.
Here, this one.
Oh yeah,
That's a good record.
yeah. With
Great
the cat.
record.
That's a
Ungo
light.
Fury.
Oh, Fury, yeah.
That's got the Witch Goddess of Lancashire Boulevard.
So I have a
Abracadabra.
technical record, a couple technical. So one thing is I mean, now that I'm putting everything in sleeves, and I've standardized my sleeves. I like the polyethylene sleeves, not the polyurethane, which are the crispy ones. The polyethylene are more rubberier, and so I like those, and I've gone to putting everything in there. Since I've done that, I have started taking the sleeves out of shrink wrap if they're still in shrink wrap, and I know the archivist feels and was told that that's actually a beneficial thing. I've found I like it better because I can see the cover much better. And a lot of times if it's a gatefold, you can see the inside. And a lot of times it's kind of sticking to the cover. And certainly records that were kept in their shrink rack back in the day are in much better shape now. But now that we're putting them into these sleeves, I think shrink wrap is a nuisance. Does anybody have a strong opinion to the other?
Unless it's a really, really cool ass original hype sticker, I always take the shrink off, even if it's.
Keep the hype stickers, by the way. I cut them off and put them in the.
Yeah, I don't always I don't keep new hype stickers anymore. I just rip the covers off. You know.
I leave every single record in the shrink.
In shrink.
Hey, hold on 1 second. I need to make a joke.
Fair.
Then come up, Rich. I'll send you the link.
Oh, yeah.
Well.
So the other question I had is, does anybody, are promo copies any better than standard pressings? I like them when I see them.
They can be.
Theoretically, they can be.
Usually they're off the first stamper, so they can be, but not always, because especially in the 70s and 80s, record labels would reservice radio stations. So like say Fleetwood Mac Rumors that was played so much, 3-5 years later, they would send promo copies from 5 years later. Right. So you might get a Warner Brothers promo copy of Rumors that's from 1980 or something, So it just depends.
That makes sense.
But yeah, typically it was my understanding that they're some of the first pressed.
Right? Yeah, they usually are. In most cases, they are.
It's weird because in Discogs, a lot of times the prices paid for the promo copies are lower than the standard copies, but maybe it's just because they sell more than the others. I don't know.
Excuse me, I have another joke to make. Usually that's what people with small penises say. Thank you.
Your jokes are falling flat here, Rob.
They're funny to me, and that's all that matters.
They could be coma-inducing. I'm just saying, be careful.
I leave my records in the shrink, man.
For me,
if that's what you want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's more common than taking them out. But I've started.
I'll let you know something that I know from selling records. If they're still in the shrink, it's a better chance you'll sell the record.
People like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. People like that. Now, I buy most of my records used. I don't buy a lot of new records. So most of them don't have shrink. The shrink's long gone.
Right.
But if it's shrink, I leave it. I'm not going to tear it off unless, it's halfway off.
Well, I also make a note on my little sticker that it arrived in the shrink, but no longer, that I took it out of shrink. So,
all right, well, that's fucking weird. You're probably going to go to hell for that. That's way overboard.
Well, it fits with the OCD. So
this is a promo I got recently. And now Rob's going to criticize me because I probably showed it, but I don't know if I have. I've been looking for this record. I used to own it. And this is from the late 70s. This is from 1978. This is Radio Birdman.
Yeah. I don't think I have a copy of that.
It's an Australian punk band. Unfortunately, there's rips on it. I bought this in San Rafael, California. But the record is in perfect shape, a Sire record. It looks like it's hardly ever been played.
It's about the music, stupid.
Yeah, it is. But you want a nice cover. At least the cover is in good shape. Yeah, the cover's in great shape. The back's a little funky. But the record is very good.
What kind of music is that?
It's punk, Australian punk music.
Okay.
I remember when it was in the stores and I never bought it. Yeah, but I regret it now. It's rare. It's hard to find.
It's got the inner sleeve separate. I need to put a new sleeve on it, but I need to clean it, even though it looks pristine. It looks like it's never been played. Probably some promo guy had it in the Bay Area and sold his collection, but and it stuck. Something stuck to it. Obviously,
Right.
he probably like, as Rob would say, probably masturbated on it. It got all sticky. and got-
Listen, I don't talk about masturbating on records, Mazzy.
Probably the
I
shrink
have
wrap.
some dignity about myself.
The
Yeah,
shrink-
Tom says this. It's in perfect shape because the record was kept in the cover, in the sleeve. Exactly, Rob. Exactly, Tom.
Well,
Here's
I
a
think
great
probably
record.
stuck to it and peeled it off when it came off.
Yeah,
Here's
that's
something for you deadheads. Skull and Roses, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And then we have
that's a
Tiny
nice. That's a
Spread.
nice copy. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
There's
White
weed
label.
in it.
The
There's
white
weed.
label promos.
Label.
Oh, look, it's in a-
WNCR, Radio Free New College, box
Yeah.
Sarasota, Florida.
I have a
look at that
purple copy of
ugly
that.
paper sleeve. Ugly paper sleeve.
Oh, whatever.
This
So-
this is slamming. It is such a good sounding record.
It's a great record. Yeah.
Came with a sticker too. There was a sticker in there.
I have other copies with the sticker.
There you go.
With the yeah, I used to have a sticker on my Volkswagen van, right?
Wow. I had a VW van too. That was my first car. That was the first car that was mine. I had my dad's car before that, but
When I was 16, I got a 68 Volkswagen van. I got a job delivering Herald Examiners. I made enough money to drop out of high school and drive up to San Francisco when I was 17.
That's
in
what
my
you
van.
did back then. Was that like in the early 70s?
74, 73, 74.
You know, you should have come over to the Inner Sunset and come to the record store I worked in and said hi.
I wound up in Mill Valley.
Yeah. Village Music
And,
was around then.
Yep.
Did you go to
I
Village
was-
Music?
Yeah, that guy though was very
John.
scary and
Yeah, he is.
mean.
But he was a good musicologist, but he was a kind of like grumpy.
I have a few records from there. I have a few
He's-
records about there.
it was like the comic book salesman on The Simpsons.
You know,
Yeah, please don't lean against the counter.
but people like Elvis Costello, once Elvis hit, and Ry Cooder used to go to that store because he had the
Oh, yeah.
best old rock and roll roots music. They put on shows
Please-
at the old Sweetwater Club. It was
Please
a
don't lean
hotbed
against
for musicians. Yeah.
Please don't lean against the counter. It contains a very rare Mary Worth in which Mary convinces her best friend to commit. You know the.
Well, you know, he was married to John Cipollina's sister.
Hold on one second. I
He's
have
still selling records up
That's
there
a
on
good
the
connection.
weekends.
He
no
sells it out of a,
suggestions from you.
Well, mine was a 72 VW, and I did so much. I put in a bed, I put in louvered windows, I put on an external oil cooler off of that place. It was a John Muir book on how to repair your VW, and then I did the carburetors on it. I dropped the engine once and replaced the engine, and man, that's where I haven't continued to do that, but I think it's when I first fell in love with doing mechanical things.
Question for you, Dr. Robert.
Yeah.
Of all the cars you've ever owned, have you ever found a dead animal inside of any of them?
How about a live animal that you shot?
Definitely, I haven't shot any, but I think I've run over some animals. I ran over a cat once, but I think I got it right in the middle and didn't hurt the thing. I stopped to look for it and it was gone. So seemed like it was fine.
Hold on, I have a joke to make. Is it really? Thank you. We'll
Boom.
probably wrap things up in a couple minutes. I think a good solid 2 hours is nice.
Oh yeah, I still have my Idiot's Guide. Complete Idiot's Guide.
to what?
That's it. John Muir, Idiot's Guide to
Volkswagen, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
I
that.
had-
Well, okay. Jim is
Sorry.
obsessed with the Volkswagen bus.
The new Volkswagen bus.
Well, no, the regular ones,
Yeah,
but they have the new electric one that's coming out.
which I saw on the road. I
It
saw on the
ain't-
street.
It ain't cheap. It ain't
Oh,
a
it's like
cheap car.
75 grand.
Hey,
Yeah.
has anybody, I'm sure this is not the audience maybe, but I'm curious what people, if they've heard the Mobile Fidelity Santana Lotus issue. I have the original Japanese I'm not getting it, but
Well,
I love
what
that live
what are
record.
people? You said issue. Is there something wrong with that?
No, the issue of it. I mean,
Oh.
the release. I haven't heard. I'm just curious what people think
Well,
of
I
it.
think technically, the original release of it was done by MoFi.
No, the original was Japan Victor, or it was Sony.
I'm letting you know that Mike the Ingroove, from what I understand, had copies of it. There was that Santana record that MoFi did the mastering for, but it was released in Japan.
Mobile Fidelity didn't exist in 1978, I don't believe.
Let me type in what there was a Santana record that was released in
Mobile
Japan.
Fidelity was around in 78.
That's what I was thinking too.
I don't think they didn't do that Lotus.
Not at that time.
Let's make Mazzy look foolish.
Okay, make me look foolish.
There was a mobile. Can people help me?
I mean, maybe Mobile Fidelity did a version later. For instance, it never came out in America on vinyl until recently, because it came out. The first American release of Lotus was a CD.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
I have a question for you, Mazzy. Is that on your shirt? Is that actually Bob Dylan or is that Timothy Chalamet?
This is a 20-year-old hoodie I bought in Lower Haight 20 years ago. It's Dylan. It's like I don't know. There was a shop in Lower Haight. I bought it.
Okay.
So it's 20 years old and still in beautiful
I'm
shape.
looking this up.
Timothy Chalamet would have been in diapers practically.
Well, hold on. I have my copy here.
What are we seeing there, Jim?
That's a KMET Zappa sticker on the back of my 19, probably that might have been the 67 van.
Nice.
And I'm not sure who that girl is.
Okay, G. Valdez, the new MoFi Lotus is badass. Okay.
Yeah, but can someone tell me the Santana record that MoFi did all the mastering for?
It could be. It's not Lotus.
Would you just shut up and let me get the words out of my mouth? Can someone tell me
I mean, I can. If I want this abuse, I could bring back Rachel.
Right, and time's up. Anyway,
hold on. I want to say something without interruption. Can someone tell me the Santana record that MoFi did the mastering for, but it wasn't released as a MoFi record? There is a record like that. It was released in Japan. Can someone tell me that this exists? Thank you. Because I know about this because the Ingroove sold it. He talked about it. I thought there was a version of Lotus like that.
Yes,
I mean, there could have been, but this is not this. Okay, hold on a second. The original was 1974. Let's see, 1974.
Yeah, somebody got it in the peanut gallery there.
What is it?
Lotus is 74.
Yeah, but I know this record exists. Okay.
Yeah, but the original of Lotus was not Mobile Fidelity.
Oh man,
1974. Here we go. It's weird. It's not okay. Europe. There's
Volkswagen vans were split window up until 67.
Anyway, what year did MoFi first put out? Okay, hold on a second.
Was it 78?
The Westphalias were
What
later.
year did Mobile Fidelity release their first vinyl album?
Wasn't it, Jim? The Westphalias were later, weren't they? Were they called
1977? 1977. So Lotus predates Mobile Fidelity. Mobile Fidelity is 1977, and Lotus is 73, 4 or 4. It's 1974 because it is the Caravanserai tour. They had recorded Welcome, and there you go.
I'm going to try and find that answer, but there is that Santana record. MoFi made it, but it wasn't released as a MoFi.
Right.
Anyway, they just released it last month or this month as a MoFi Lotus, and I'm just curious. Some guy said it sounds great, so
Okay. Mm.
And thank you for arguing and being
Hold
an
on.
asshole to me, Rob.
Hold on. Rodrix is saying you're correct. Okay, but what record is it? The title. Which title?
Probably Abraxas.
No, it's not Abraxas. It came out as a regular record, but MoFi did it.
But Matt.
Lotus. Okay. What year did Mobile Fidelity do this version of Lotus?
So
It's Lotus. Mobile Fidelity, all they did was master it and do it, but it was not released as a MoFi. Why is this funny to you, Dr. Robert? You're telling stories about raccoons hissing at you. I'm actually talking about records.
Read Rick's V Spinner's copy or comment. The one
On this
I don't
episode
think-
of
no, the one after that, the more recent one.
I don't think Opals were ever sold in the U.S.
The
There
Santana album is not called Barbarella. That's the movie with but it's
Hey, I care.
Very-
It's my
that's-
stream. So Rick's take a long walk off a shore pier.
I was actually laughing at that. So there you go.
Barbarella.
No, not Barbarella.
Okay, I'm going to click on this one. It was the 2017. Okay, so thank you, Christopher. The 2017 pressing of Lotus was done by MoFi, but never released as a MoFi. It was just released by Sony Japan. Okay,
that's one of those Santana records nobody cares about.
I'm curious.
It's
Hold
a
on.
3 record live set.
I'm curious if this mastering is the one they used for this reissue on MoFi. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But
So Mazzy, they did do it in 2017, but not released as a
so they
MoFi.
did it 8 years ago. Yeah. Okay.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But the original one never came out in America on vinyl. And
Hey,
up until
People are making requests. You're a moron, Rich. There you go.
I think it was in 80 or 91, maybe, the CD came out. My current It's Music Stupid that just dropped. So if you want to get off this stream and go watch it, you can watch it now. I included Lotus because I have a signed CD of Lotus from Carlos Santana.
So MoFi,
Yeah.
this is the
Like
second record.
That's why I said 74.
No. They're putting out reissues of Sony Japan releases. They're doing this Miles Davis live concert, which was only released in Japan.
But I think Krieg at MoFi, Krieg Wonderluck is recutting everything.
All right. Yes, I think I'm going to shut down the stream. We've exhausted all possible conversation, but I appreciate everyone joining
Thanks
us.
for doing this, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Thanks
I'm
for
here
hosting.
to break up the monotony of your lives. Everyone have a wonderful day. Tomorrow night, go watch the Jazz Bums. Don't take coffee recommendations from Mazzy until he cleans his grinder with instant rice.
Right,
Hammond,
baby.
you know, that's one of the best cartridges I've ever had on my table. I love that.
have a
I
brand
think
new-
that's the sweet spot. I might even like that better than the Unami Blue.
All right. We'll do cartridge talk tomorrow.
Okay.
Everyone have a lovely day. Well, I'm not streaming tomorrow. We'll just do the talk.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Later days.